Come to Ghana!
Hi, I'm Sheila, and after years of planning, I finally took a 14 hours road trip from Lagos to Ghana. I tasted Nigerian and Ghanaian jollof, and I highly recommend Ghanaian jollof. I'm sure I'm not the only one who is always excited to try new food. And on my recent trip to Ghana, I knew I had to visit Osu Night Market for the zongo rice. We came during a holiday, so not a lot of stores were open, but thankfully I was able to see the store where we got the zongo rice. Because I would have really shared hot tears. One thing I was in Ghana to do was explore food. I think this even made up 50% of my budget. More, there were lots of things to try, which was exactly why I took the 14 hours road trip from Lagos. Starting with the palm nut soup, this tasted similar to banga soup and I absolutely loved it. Almost my friend's expression said she also loved it. The foodie in me couldn't resist having all three soups mixed together to have a blend of all flavors. And it was just the best decision. This was so good that I lost my home training. In fact, I remember for make a delete plate. I had white rice and beef in oyster sauce because I am here to eat and I absolutely enjoyed it. Ghana may not have the best jollof rice, but when it comes to rice, there are other options that can compete on a global scale. Starting strong with wache, I had this during my trip to Ghana, and you guys, I'm still seeing this meal in my dreams. It was so good, a 10 over 10. Next, zongo rice, which is their version of rice and stew, and it's equally very good. So Ghanaians, why not leave jollof rice for Nigerians and shine moonlight on these amazing options? Because let's not lie.
Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Delphina and I'm super excited returning back to you. I'm happy that Nigerians are enjoying Ghanaian food now. Someone like me, I never thought that I would get used to eating especially banku, because of the salt they put inside the banku, so it tastes some kind of way. But now I'm the best banku eater. I'm telling you guys, I even eat banku even more than some Ghanaians, if I'm not mistaken. Seriously, guys, enough of the talk. Let's get right into it, and please at the end of it kindly drop your opinion in the comment section. Let's watch.
Come to Ghana!
Hi, I'm Sheila, and I love to explore food, places, and culture. And after years of planning, I finally took a 14 hours road trip from Lagos to Ghana, and this was how it went. Took off from GO Transport in Jibo at about 6 a.m. I was into the ride. We stopped by Badagry, where the transport company was kind enough to feed us, which was actually very thoughtful considering the distance, plus it also tasted pretty decent. You see how excited we were in. This is what happens when a group trip finally leaves the group chat. Anywho, while the driver was undergoing some clearance, we met this stubborn child who was just changing it for everybody. Almost she no agree, but I mean, what's road trip without some drama, right? Once clearance was done, we made it to our next stop, and the way network disappeared, then you guys, I even attempted to roam, which was actually very expensive. We finally made it to Seme border, which is the main border crossing from Lagos to Benin Republic. Here we got our passport stamp and made our way to the Benin to Togo border, where we converted our nairas to cedis. And you guys, the exchange rate is terrible, and this is what 10,000 naira looks like. Quick advice though, it is best to exchange via cash and not transfer, as the transfer charge is outrageous. I got this drink for 10 cedis, which is 1,000 naira. Once clearance was done, we are on our way to Togo, and you guys, it is so beautiful. Just take a look at the trees. Lagos could never. Hours in, and we arrived at the Togo to Ghana border, where our passport got stamped, and I bought a SIM card alongside data for 6,000 naira. Very crazy. A shocker for me were the sizes of the fruits. You guys, this big bucket was 40 cedis, which is 4,000 naira, and this 10 cedis, which is 1,000 naira. Just when we thought we had finally reached Ghana, we stayed in this traffic for 1 hour, which I think was even more safe because I slept and woke up and we were still in this traffic. All of which was due to a burial ceremony. Now wow, Ghanaians not to do. After hours in traffic, we made it to Accra Mall, and you guys, I was so excited. Headed to our final destination, which is in Spintex, and checked in into our very, very gorgeous space. You guys, content go choke, so get ready. As if the stress from the road trip wasn't enough, we stopped by the mall to get food because belle go chopo. Anywho, that was how my 14 hours trip from Lagos to Ghana went, and of course, see you on the next episode of Sheila Explores Ghana. Spend the day with me as a Nigerian tourist visiting Ghana for the first time. Today we'll be exploring 4 tourist attraction spots in Ghana, starting with the Freedom and Justice Monument, also known as the Black Star Gate, located at Accra's Independence Square. It was commissioned by Ghana's first president, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, to mark independence in 1957. The Black Star represents African freedom and unity, and the square holds the same national significance as Tafawa Balewa Square in Nigeria. Next up, the Dr. Kwame Nkrumah Presidential Library, which is just a short walk from the Independence Square, and it's dedicated to Ghana's first president and Pan-African legend, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. Now, entry here is 100 cedis for tourists and 25 cedis for Ghanaians, which is just a way to preserve the facility because the maintenance is very important, which is actually evident here. Just when we thought to be in and out and spend at most 1 hour, you guys, we spent over 4 hours here, and that's because there's lots to take in, which varies from his personal artifacts and books to rare photographs and historical records. Here you will also find where he and his wife were buried. They also have stores to get as many things as you want, so just make sure you hold money because it's job. I also finally got to try Kusiana Miku, which I hope I'm pronouncing correctly, and ice cream, which actually deserves a separate video, so get ready. Overall, this stop was easily one of the most memorable stops on the trip. Even with the hot sun, we still made it to the Arts and Crafts Market because we didn't come here to play. But to our greatest surprise, things were so expensive here that we couldn't even buy anything. Or more cries in broke. So I'll advise you hold enough cash because things there to buy. Thankfully, I could afford coconut water, which was just what I needed for the burning sun. I was not even lying when I said we're not here to play because we still made our way to Makolo Market, which is just as chaotic as Idumota. Here I also got to try multiple things that will create a separate video for. I've tasted Nigerian and Ghanaian jollof and I highly recommend Ghanaian jollof. Just kidding, just kidding. For day 2 of our stay in Ghana, we stopped by the Landing restaurant to check out the Sunday buffet. Upon arrival, we were welcomed with asana, which tasted way better than the one in the market. Then we went straight to the order of the day, the order of the trip, which was the food. And there were lots of things to try, which was exactly why I took the 14 hours road trip from Lagos. Starting with the palm nut soup, this tasted similar to banga soup and I absolutely loved it. Almost see my friend's expression said she also loved it. The foodie in me couldn't resist having all 3 soups mixed together to have a blend of all flavors. And it was just the best decision. This was so good that I lost my home training. In fact, I remained for make a delete plate. Anyway, I decided to take a break to soak in beautiful music, then went straight for the jollof rice, which I've been longing to try. Now to the taste. It wasn't properly spiced like the Nigerian jollof, though not bad, but I personally didn't like it because it lacks the heat factor. On that note, Nigerian jollof wins, please. Next, I had white rice and beef in oyster sauce because I am here to eat and I absolutely enjoyed it. Of course, I had to try panko as it was on my list of things to try. And well, I guess my expression explains how I felt about it. Big ups to the Landry restaurant though, as they had lots of options to pick from. So if you ever find yourself in Ghana and want to have a variety of meals, then this is the spot for you. Wait, don't judge me because I was equally as shocked as you are. Hi, it's day 3 in Ghana, so let's get right into the activities for the day. The plan was to check out a garden we saw on TikTok, but our greatest surprise, it was no longer existing. Oh more, that was paying us. We turned our lemons to lemonade and just checked out this spot that was not far away while we waited for our ride to Aburi Gardens. We made it to Aburi Gardens, paid our gate fee, and the crowd was not what we expected, which was actually due to the Easter holiday. Everybody was outside. We decided to check out some vendors, key spots, and just make the most of our time here because the money no fee waste. I'll say it's best to come here when there is no holiday or key celebration because Ghanaians don't play. It was time to go home, and the way we hopped into the next available bus because Uber fees choke. Next up was Accra Mall, which was equally as crowded. We tried to buy a tin or two but couldn't as none of our transactions went through. Neither was Bureau de Change even accepting Naira. My advice is to come with cash or a working dollar card so you don't get stranded as you almost did. To make up for the day, we stopped by Osu Night Market to get some good local food. And boy, did it taste good. This even deserves a separate video, so stay tuned for it. Anywho, that's a wrap on day 3 in Ghana. I'm sure I'm not the only one who is always excited to try new food. And on my recent trip to Ghana, I knew I had to visit Osu Night Market for the Zongo rice. We came during a holiday, so not a lot of stores were open, but thankfully I was able to see the store where we got the Zongo rice. Because I would have really shared hot tears. One thing I was in Ghana to do was explore food. I think this even made up 50% of my budget. I paired my rice with spaghetti, beef, chicken, and some vegetables, which tasted great. So have you had Zongo rice before? And how would you describe the taste? Anywho, if you ever find yourself in Ghana, you should definitely stop by Osu Night Market to have a taste of Ghanaian meals. This is 500 Naira. That's 5 cedis. Rating everything I ate on my first day in Ghana. First, Kosiana Meku, and baby, I have waited so long to try this. And it basically tastes like egg and stew / egg and pepper.
Oh, is it nice?
Actually, yeah. And you can tell my friend absolutely loved it. So I'll give it a 7 over 10. Next, ice cream, which we got for 5 cedis, which is 500 Naira. Oh, that's crazy. So how did it taste?
Just like normal street ice cream. Nice.
I'll give this a 7 over 10 because it was just too expensive for 500 Naira. You can never go wrong with coconut water, right? So I was not expecting less with this. And it was just as refreshing as I expected, so a 9 over 10. Then I got this Ghana buns on our way to Makolo Market and it was so huge. But for the taste, a 5 over 10 as it was so dry. Still in the market, I had asana, which is made from fermented corn and caramelized sugar. And I think my expression already says it all. But no fear, my stomach was still intact. Anyway, there is no way I was going back without having wache, so we asked around for the best spots in the market and this came highly recommended. And more, it was busting. See, after my first 2 bites, I had to find a place to sit down, make a balance chop well. It was so good that my friend who was initially skeptical finished the meal before I could even blink an eye. And more, make I know like pay me. So here are 3 things I wish I knew or someone had at least told me before going on my trip to Ghana. Listen up. Number 1, cash is king. For this trip, it's best you have cash or at least a functioning dollar card. Because see, my eyes saw shaggy banzad. We couldn't get a lot of things because we didn't have cash, like physical cash, and they were not accepting Naira for conversion. So my people, carry cash. And by cash, you can either go with dollars or Naira, but dollars is actually preferable because it just helps exchange. Number 2, we should actually be number 1. Location matters, you guys. Location matters because we stayed at the far end of the city and spent a lot on transportation. See, location matters. Do your research, know the places to stay. We spent a lot on transportation. Oh. Anywho, I covered some of the places to stay in my ebook. It's just 3,000 naira, so get it. Number three, avoid the holidays. I know a lot of people like to travel during the holidays, even myself. I like to travel during the holidays, but the crowd is crazy. So I think what you can do is move early. So if you want to go to the beach, for example, instead of going in the evening, please go in the morning or in the afternoon. We went to Labadi Beach in the evening and it was crazy. If you can go to a private beach, is better because the crowd at the beach is crazy. See, people were so close to the water, but we had to even leave. Same thing with Aburi Gardens. There were lots of people. So I think the best thing is if you go during the holiday is to, set out in the morning or in the afternoon and not in the evening. Bonus points, the road trip is going to be a very long ride. So download your movies, your music, whatever, because internet is crazy and roaming is so expensive. See, I do not even recommend roaming at all. The best thing to do is to buy a SIM card at the border, which I also did. Oh, let me also mention that Momo is widely accepted in Ghana. So brace yourself. That's why I said go with cash so that you can easily transfer your cash. Like you can easily exchange your cash. By cash, I mean dollars. Change dollars before you go and have physical cash because the exchange, especially for transfer, is crazy. You might not even see anybody that is willing to collect naira because before we saw somebody that was willing to collect naira, we had to go to the airport. And that was also because, again, we went during the holidays and a lot of stores, a lot of places were closed. Here's a cost breakdown of my 3 days vacation in Ghana. Starting with the prep, yellow fever card cost 6,000 naira and this was done at the Port Health Service. Next, transportation, I used GUO and paid a total of 179,000 naira for a round trip, meaning to and fro, and it came with feeding to and fro. And while on the trip, I had to buy a SIM card and data for 6,000 naira at the border. Now to accommodation, we stayed in 2 apartments. This is the first located in Spintex. We spent 2 nights here and it cost $148.35, which is around 250. I highly recommend here as it is proximal to key attraction spots, and the second apartment cost $150 for 2 nights, which is still around 250k, and it's located in Boteman, which is pretty far. To the activities, Black Star Gate was free, so we spent 0 naira here, but about 8,000 naira on Uber from our apartment to this place and the presidential library. Access to the library cost 2,500 naira for indigents and 10,000 naira for tourists, but we paid 2,500. Next, we went for a buffet in the Landing restaurant that cost about 48,500 naira. We stopped by Labadi Beach and paid an entry fee of 3,000 naira, although we couldn't stay because of how crowded it was. Next on the list of places we explored was Aburi Gardens with an entry fee of 2,000 naira. Let me also mention that this place is pretty crowded during the holiday. I explored a lot of meals during this trip, so I'll bring the total for meals and souvenirs to about 100,000 naira. Now the total from accommodation down to transportation within the city cost about 850,000 naira. But since I traveled with a group of 4, I paid about 470 to 500k. To reduce accommodation cost, I advise you book a hotel if you're going solo or with a group of 2. I'll also say stay in a central location as that affected our cost greatly and we spent a lot on transportation. I spent 4 nights in Ghana and this video is to answer questions on where I stayed. First, I made my bookings on Airbnb and this is the first apartment. This apartment has everything you need: the pool, a gym, Wi-Fi, functioning Netflix, basically everything you need to make you feel comfortable. We spent 2 nights here and one thing that stood out for me was the proximity to all of the key locations we had to visit. Uber fees from here was really affordable, which just makes sense to save cash. The only thing we didn't like about this space was the bathroom, which was why we had to change to the second apartment. That was a bad idea. Now to the second apartment, this was really beautiful, but it was outside town, which we didn't know. I mean, that's what comes with being a JJC, right? Now transporting from here was really expensive because of the distance. It was as far as going from Ikorodu by road to the island. Yeah, that distance. So you can imagine how much we spent on just transportation. Aside it being a distance from key spots, it was also very comfortable, had an in-house restaurant, a pool, and everything you need to make you feel comfortable. And the bathroom was so beautiful. Both apartments are 2-bedroom flats, so it all depends on your means of transportation and the places you want to visit. And for other things like bed size, the first apartment had bigger beds.
I'm happy that Nigerians are enjoying Ghanaian food now. Someone like me, I never thought that I would get used to eating, especially banku. Yeah, because of the salt they put inside the banku, so it tastes some kind of way. But now, the best. Banku eater. I'm telling you guys, I even eat banku even more than some Ghanaians, if I'm not mistaken. Seriously, yeah. You know, when the food is for you, sometimes you feel somehow like, oh, let me leave that one and try the other one. But as for me, as I'm in Ghana and I love Ghana, what do I have to do? Not to eat Ghanaian food, my brother, my sisters. All this food I did not eat during my school days, I dey chop am now, like with joy in my heart. That's just it. So, I'm a typical example of never say never, I swear to God. To crown it all, guys, this is a beautiful video and the video deserves to be shared. So share this video to as many eyes out there I believe to watch. And also know that Ghanaian food na better food. Yes. I love you guys always. Bye bye.